Okay, for number 10, we could go through the steps of trying to divide each of these using synthetic division. Now, you'd have to put this in order, the whole, each of these. So, and then try each one to see if they would work with synthetic division. So, for the first one, let's try it out. Okay. We would have 1. Okay. Right. Because this would be x minus 1 equals 0. Then you solve for x and it would be 1. Okay. So if we put it in order, we have to start at this end and it looks like it goes backwards. Okay. So we would have 2 and then negative 2, negative 14, 26, and then we have negative 12. Now notice there's no constants, so you'd have to put a 0. Okay, but that's not a big deal if I can write 0. All right, so how do we deal with synthetic division? We bring down the 2, and then we say 1 times 2 is 2, put it underneath, and then that would be 0. Okay, I'm all right with that. Then this would be 0, and that would be a negative 14. And then 1 times negative 14 is negative 14. So we subtract that, and that's 12. And then we would have 1 times 12, and we put 12 here. And this is 0. So we know that 1 is a factor, but what does it say? Not a factor. So getting this 0 here is simply not okay. And then, of course, if we followed through, it would be 0 for the next one. So this all being 0 is not going to work out. So we mark that one out. And then what would you have to do? Then you'd have to try the next one. And you would proceed until you figured out which one is valid. Okay, now, after doing it by hand, now let's see how we could do it with a calculator. Okay, so you would use your table function. I have it entered in. Now make sure where you see the cursor on the calculator, make sure that you use the minus, or not minus, but negative symbol, not the minus or subtraction. That'll mess you up, okay? And by now we should know about that, but we still make that mistake. Okay, so now we push enter and I'm going to start at 0 and I'm going to go with, in fact, it doesn't matter where you start. What matters for this, because I'm going to use the ask x, is that we have it in steps of 1 because we have all whole numbers. So I go through the motions, enter. Notice I've already got 1 in there. This was from a prior problem here. I'll delete all this out and let's go back and do one by one. So you have to put in x equals to 1 because that would be x minus 1 equals 0, which is, of course, x equals 1. So 1, enter, that's 0. Now the next one, 3, enter, not 0. Then the next one, that one is negative 3 or minus 3, that is 0. And then negative 2, and that is 0. Okay, and the question says which one is not. Now you should be able to answer the question fully.